Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this first webinar of the Australasian College of Road Safety's brand new Women in Road Safety Network. It's fantastic to be here this morning and to be welcomed by you all. We'll just give people a chance to come in. I would just like to start by acknowledging and paying our respects to the many First Nations of Australia who continue to be the sovereign custodians of their countries and the sovereignty of the Maori in New Zealand. We acknowledge the ongoing traditional custodians of the lands on which we live, work, and learn, and pay our respects to elders who've passed on the legacy of knowledge and culture to the future generations. May this sharing of knowledge through Mataranga Maori and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander ways of knowing, being and doing guide you with wisdom and courage as it enhances our collective futures. And welcome from wherever you are joining us around the world today. So happy International Women's Day. It's fantastic that we're able to have this event on International Women's Day and officially launch our Women in Road Safety Network for the college. This has been a work in progress for the last year or so, and I'm really excited that we are able to officially launch it today. So if you are already a member of the college and you would like to officially join the network, all you have to do is log into the member area and go to Manage My Membership and update your profile by ticking the box that says that you'd like to join the Women in Road Safety Network. And if you're not yet a member of the college, then please do join. And in the information that you give us when you're joining online, again, there is a box that you can tick to say that you would like to join the Women in Road Safety Network. So welcome, everyone. Really looking forward to hearing from Jess today. And I will pass you over to the wonderful Alexandra Malloy, who is leading the charge on this Women in Road Safety Network. Thank you.
Thank you, Ingrid, for your introduction and warm welcome. And it is wonderful to have you all join today as we embark on this crucial initiative and celebrate the launch of Women in Road Safety Network, coinciding with the celebration of International Women's Day. On this occasion, we have a special address today from Senator, the Honourable Carol Brown.
Hi, everyone. I'd first like to begin by acknowledging the lands on which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past and present and to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders peoples with us today. It's great to be with you on International Women's Day to support the official launch of the Women in Road Safety Network. This new network of the Australasian College of Road Safety is dedicated to supporting women in road safety by empowering them and advocating for them. When women are at the table, we bring new perspectives. International Women's Day embodies a global commitment to gender equality, celebrating the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women. It's a moment to recognise the progress made while acknowledging the challenges that persist. Beyond mere celebration, it serves as a call to action, urging societies to dismantle barriers, challenge stereotypes and amplify women's voices. This day is a testament to the resilience and strength of women worldwide, reminding us that equality is not a women's issue, but a societal imperative. Thank you to Dr. Alexandra Malloy for the invitation to speak to you today. The new network will provide opportunities for professional women in road safety to share and collaborate on ideas. It seeks to empower women by providing a voice for change while supporting them to advance their careers in this field. I commend the college for establishing the network, which follows on the success of the Career Pathways for Women in Road Safety project. This project also led to the establishment of a new Australian College of Road Safety Award, the Women in Road Safety Award. The award recognises the valuable role that women play in reducing road trauma. While nominees for this award may present as a leader, a quiet achiever, a role model, a mentor, the most important quality is the demonstration of outstanding commitment and effectiveness in their efforts to reduce road trauma. Last September, it was my great pleasure to present the 2023 award to international road safety expert Jessica Turon at the Australasian Road Safety Conference. This award recognised her commitment to improving road safety using technical knowledge, policy, strategy and communication skills to deliver safer outcomes for all road users globally. Last year, Australia had a catastrophic number of road fatalities, with a 7.3% increase compared to the previous year. More than 1,260 people were killed on Australian roads last year. The Australian Government is strongly committed to improving road safety and reducing road trauma across the nation's road network through the National Road Safety Strategy and the accompanying action plan, as together we strive to achieve Vision Zero by 2050. The Women in Road Safety Network is well placed to help meet this challenge by providing opportunities to learn about new road safety industry career pathways, career advancements through webinars, workshops and other events. I feel confident that the capability and capacity of the network's members will continue to grow, and I look forward to hearing more about the work of the Women in Road Safety Network as time goes on. International Women's Day inspires collective efforts for a future where every woman enjoys untethered opportunities and empowerment. When women support women, we all win. Happy International Women's Day.
On this International Women's Day, we recognise the invaluable contributions of women to road safety and also acknowledge the challenges that women face in ensuring safer roads for all. And just before I introduce the invited speaker, I would like to remind that this session is being recorded and would be available on the Australasian College of Road Safety's webinar library within approximately 1 week. Also, if you would like to ask a question, please write down your question in the Q&A section and we will get back to them after the presentation. Now, I would like to introduce our award-winning speaker who won the Australasian College of Road Safety Women in Road Safety Award in 2023 for her commitment to improving road safety and who has international knowledge in road safety for more than 19 years. Welcome, Jessica Turon.
Thank you so much, Alexandra, and good morning to everyone. And I just want to say a big thank you to the ACRS for inviting me to this webinar today to be able to share a little bit about my road safety journey so far. It was a humbling experience to be given the Australasian College of Road Safety Women in Road Safety Award last year. It feels like such a long time ago now, but as we all know, there are so many wonderful women that work in road safety. So to be given that award, it was, I'm truly humbled. And I also want to take this opportunity to wish all the women that's on the call today a very happy International Women's Day. And I might just start sharing my screen. And today, I just want to spend a little bit of time to walk you through the journey that I've sort of experienced in road safety over the last almost 19 years and sort of my experience as a woman in road safety. And there'll be opportunities to ask some questions at the end as well. So to sort of start, I guess, this conversation around how I got into road safety, we have to go back almost 19 years. It's hard to believe that it's been 19 years since I started in road safety, and it all began in Victoria. My career has sort of taken me to many different areas, but where it all started was in Victoria. And I never thought road safety was where I will end up in terms of a career choice. I didn't even know it was an option when I started. My dream after finishing high school at the time was to go to university and become a psychologist. And I started a science degree, and I did major in psychology, but also majored in genetics. And I ended up doing my honours degree in genetics. I finished up there and then decided at the end, I'm not that interested in becoming a scientist. So what happened after the university was, I guess I was a little bit lost. I had plans to start traveling. So I needed, I guess, money to be able to fund some of my traveling plans. So I went looking for a part-time job. And that is how I ended up starting working at the Transport Accident Commission in Victoria. At the time, I was I took up a temporary job at the TAC for about, I think between 3 months and a year, went traveling, came back and decided that I was getting restless. And I had decided at that point that I'm going to go back and sort of start fulfilling my dream of becoming a psychologist, and decided to start some postgraduate studies to get my degree to become a psychologist. Just as I was about to leave the TAC, a role in the road safety team came up. And that was something that excited me, because they were actually looking for someone with a psychology background. So with my undergrad psych background, I sort of fulfilled that criteria and I applied for the job. Similar to many people my age at that time, many of us had grown up with the TAC ads growing up. You can see on the right-hand side of that slide, TAC is very well known for their public education campaigns, and I have grown up watching those campaigns. And to actually have that opportunity to work in the team that produced those excellent TVCs was a really exciting opportunity for me, and I applied for the job. And at the time, I guess people in my temporary role in my team will sort of say, don't get your hopes up, because road safety and that road safety team is a very difficult team to get into. It's a very small team, not many people leave, and not many people are able to get in. But I guess I was very fortunate, because I did end up getting the job, and that started, I guess, a 10-year career span, more than 10 years actually, in that team. Some of my earliest mentors in the road safety team at the TAC were Samantha Cofield, David Healy, and Paul Tierney. And I had them to thank for giving me my start in road safety. And they were some of the most supportive and nurturing mentors that I've come across in my career. And I think that is one of the reasons why I stayed for as long as I did at the TAC, because I had a fantastic team of people around me that I enjoyed waking up every day, going to work, working with them, and working on a cause that we all believe to be very important. And having the support of Samantha Cofield, my manager at the time, was another key enabling factor of why I stayed for as long as I did at the TAC. And I still count some of my TAC colleagues as lifelong friends now. So I'm very appreciative of all of the opportunities that the TAC gave me at that time. During my time at the TAC, I worked on a range of road safety issues, and that sort of set me up for I guess, a good road safety understanding and base across a number of different issues, from vehicle safety to speed, motorcycle safety, policy development, strategy development, and working on the safe systems. And I'm really thankful that I had that support from my managers and the TAC to be able to do that. But I guess one of the biggest opportunities that the TAC gave me, and that sort of changed my trajectory a little bit in my career, was when they sent me to Sweden on a secondment for 3 months to learn about the safe system and what applications there are for Victoria. And that sort of started, I guess, the next phase of my career development. I was very fortunate. I was able to spend 3 months in Sweden learning about the Swedish approach to road safety, and being able to spend, I guess, the day-to-day workings and working with the team there. And one of the most fortunate bits was I actually got to spend many of my days chatting and learning from the brilliant people that came up with the whole Vision Zero concept. So in this image, many of you will recognize Klaus Tingvall in there, very, the father of Vision Zero, and also Roger Johansson, who was also another key person in the development of Vision Zero. So I spent most of my 3 months every day starting with a conversation with Klaus and Roger around what we called blue sky thinking. It's like, okay, what needs to be done in road safety? How can we do it differently? What have we learned? What can we change? And it was just that way of thinking that really highlighted to me that, you know, we need to open up our minds in terms of how we can actually change road safety for the better. And one of the key things I learned during my time in Sweden was how we've actually been interpreting Vision Zero and Safe System and how we've actually been applying it. And I found that, yeah, the way we've sort of been thinking and talking about the Safe System in Victoria, there was a slight, I guess, a slight difference to the way that Klaus and the original developers of Vision Zero initially envisaged it being discussed and being applied. So being able to learn from the people that came up with the idea was so eye-opening. And I see this trip to Sweden as having a key part in changing where I sort of saw the trajectory of my career going. Just before I left Australia to go to Sweden, I was about to enroll in a PhD. And the topic that I wanted to focus on was on enforcement and behavioral change, because I wanted to link something back to the psychology background that I had. During my time at the TAC, I did end up finishing my postgraduate studies in psychology, and I did become a psychologist. And with this new sort of journey on the PhD, I thought, oh, maybe it'll be good to sort of do something in that psychology space. But after this trip, I was more interested in learning how can I truly apply the Safe System and the Vision Zero thinking in Victoria to help us reduce road trauma and eventually maybe get to zero road fatalities and serious injuries. So after this trip in Sweden, I was fortunately able to take many learnings back to Victoria. And some of the key outcomes, I guess, from this trip was being able to use some of that knowledge that I learned in Sweden to help champion for a change in the focus from a more traditional road safety approach to a more Vision Zero Safe System approach in TAC internally, and also with some of our external projects. You know, I was very fortunate to be able to be a part of the TAC's development and launch of its Towards Zero strategy and changing their public education campaign from, once again, the more traditional road safety topics to a more Vision Zero Safe System sort of thinking. And one of the key highlights was the man on the street and changing the way we sort of view road safety as being, and I guess road trauma being an inevitable outcome of having a road system, to getting the public and our road safety stakeholders thinking, actually, there are things that are within our control that we can change to make Vision Zero a reality. So I think this trip to Sweden really changed the way I approached my career, approached road safety, and also where I think I wanted to take my career. And I was, at this point, I had been with the TAC for about 12, 13 years now, and I always had an interest in looking at maybe working internationally at some point. And after returning from Sweden, I was able to spend some time with the TAC and apply some of the learnings when a role came up and became available in the UK that was working in the international road safety space, And that's how it sort of started the third transition, I guess you can call it that, of my career. And in 2016, I moved to the UK to start up a new job in international road safety. So when I moved to the UK, I started working with the Towards Zero Foundation. Some of you may be aware the Towards Zero Foundation is an international road safety charity that is working towards a world that is free from road fatalities and serious injuries. And one of their major projects is called the Global New Car Assessment Program. And this is a program that is predominantly concerned with improving vehicle safety and democratizing vehicle safety globally. So at Global NCAP and TZF, we believe that everyone deserves access to safer vehicles, no matter where they live in the world. Unfortunately, that is not the reality that we're seeing today. We're seeing unsafe vehicles being made available in low middle income countries, mainly in countries that don't have regulations in place. And that's why, I guess, at Global NCAP, we're working very closely with our partners to try to democratize safety for everyone. And most of our work is therefore based in low and middle income countries. And that is a vast contrast from some of the work that I was doing in Australia, but it really opened my eyes up to the fact that there is a great need in road safety, not just in Australia, but globally, and even more so in low middle income countries. They really do need, I guess, more input and more support in being able to reduce road trauma. And some of the key projects that I've been involved in at Global NCAP and the TZF is predominantly around improving vehicle safety and doing crash testing in low middle income countries to highlight, I guess, the safety disparity that we're seeing between high income countries and low middle income countries and regions, and trying to advocate governments to implement at least the very basic vehicle safety standards so that people can have access to safer vehicles. In addition to that, the crash test programs that we're running acts as an incentive for manufacturers to voluntarily improve vehicle safety and make safety technologies available ahead of any vehicle regulations that might already be in place. So you can sort of see from this image, there's a lot of activities going on. Some of the other work that we do is also advocating for countries to adopt life-saving crash avoidance technologies. Once again, a lot of this work is based in low middle income countries because there is a significant lag in the adoption of some of these technologies. But also found very pleased that Australia has sort of caught up on some of that front. But a few years ago, when Australia hadn't adopted motorcycle ABS and autonomous emergency braking, we were lagging behind a bit in terms of some of the high performing countries. But now that Australia has implemented motorcycle ABS and AEB regulations, we're sort of moving back up towards where some of the high performing countries and better performing road safety countries are sort of at. But of course, there are still a number of key technologies that we should be looking at implementing over the next few years if we sort of want to get back up to the standard of some of the best performing countries in terms of vehicle safety standards, and that would be Europe at the moment. In addition to advocating for vehicle safety changes, we do a lot of work at the TZF around policy changes and working at the UN level to advocate, once again, better vehicle safety standards, but also ensuring that there is a continuation on a focus of road safety as a significant public health issue. As you would understand, road safety is currently included as one of the Sustainable Development Goals, but it wasn't always like that. And you know, we need NGOs such as the TZF and other road safety players to continually put road safety on in the spotlight to ensure that we get continued funding and continued recognition that this is a human rights and a public health issue that needs continued attention and focus and implementation in order for us to be able to eradicate this issue. And that's where I'm sort of at in terms of my career and where I'm working at. And in the meantime, I did end up continuing on with my PhD. It's been 8 long years I've been doing this part-time while I've continued working full-time. But I'm happy to say submission is next week, and hopefully, yes, that will be the end of studying for a long, long time. But during the 8 years I've been at the TZF and working in the UK, been working on that PhD, but I've also started a small consultancy company based on some of the topics that I've been learning in my PhD, which is around how to implement the Vision Zero safe system policies and principles and applying that to strategy development and strategy planning. And Lersninger is a consultancy that I started with a couple of colleagues, Ken Beer, many of you are very familiar with him, and Johan Strandrud, another road safety expert in Sweden. And our aim at Lersninger is really to work on a vision planning process that can help take jurisdictions from where we are currently to 0 road fatalities and serious injuries eventually. And I'm happy that some of the learnings that I've sort of gathered during my PhD was able to contribute to the development of this company, and we've been able to use some of this thinking to help guide jurisdictions on how to plan for that zero trauma road safety system. And there are so many things that have happened over the last 19 years. And I've been asked to sort of talk about what some of my career highlights were, and that it's very difficult to pick a few things because there's been so many great projects and great people that I've worked with over the many years. But I guess if I were to pick a few things that I've seen as some of my career highlights, was on the left-hand corner, you can see there, that's the man on the street advertisement. I think one of the key highlights for me at the TAC was being able to apply some of the thinking and learning that I developed in Sweden on my secondment, and being able to take that back and applying it in Victoria and helping them sort of move to that safe system focus. And the man on the street advertisement was one of a series of television campaigns that we developed to help guide that transition into that more safe system thinking. And that man on the street campaign, I'm sure many of you have seen it. It was one of my career highlights, being able to work on it, being able to be a part of that team that developed it. It's something that I'm very proud of personally. And during my time at the Towards Zero Foundation and Global NCAP, you know, being able to be a part of a team that has implemented crash testing programs in low middle income countries and seen the development from predominantly zero-star unsafe cars to the market changing to having more 5-star cars and better cars with better safety standards and better vehicle technologies is another key career highlight. We've seen, as a result of some of our work, governments adopting life-saving vehicle safety technologies, implementing them, and seeing manufacturers also withdrawing unsafe cars from sale because of some of the work that we've done. We like to think that we've played a part in changing vehicle safety for the better in a number of these country regions. So being able to be a part of that has been another thing that I'm very proud of. And also at TZF, I guess the more general focus where we talked about making sure we keep a focus on road safety at the higher level to ensure that it's not forgotten as a public health issue is another key thing that I've been very fortunate to be a part of. We at the TZF, we sort of started the 50 by 30 campaign, making sure that the SDGs extend the road safety targets from 2020 to 2030. And we were very happy to see that was adopted as a part of the UN General Assembly resolution, and that there was a second decade of action that went along with it. So being able to take part in that was another career highlight for me. And then also, I guess, that middle bit is being able to contribute and developed that Vision Zero planning process along with my colleagues at WiRSN, and being able to apply that to jurisdictions now and seeing them transform and develop plans that can not only see incremental reductions in road safety in, you know, little bit by little bit over the years, but actually having a long-term plan on how to transform our system to be able to reach our interim targets, but more importantly, be able to reach zero at some point in the future. And that's something that I'm very glad that I've been a part of the process of, and I'm hoping that we can continue to do more of that in the years to come. Yeah, there's just been so many different things that I've been involved in, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been mainly very, very positive. But I guess as a woman in road safety, I have found there's been some challenges along the way as well. Nothing that can't be overcome, but they were challenges nonetheless. I started my career at the TAC, as we sort of discussed, and that was very much a very female-dominated team. So for me, that was the norm, working with lots of female, working very collaboratively. When I moved to the UK and I joined the TZF and Global NCAP, I was moving into a more male-dominated area. Being vehicle safety, it's more engineering focus that tends to have a much more male-dominated focus. And it's been fantastic working with a different cohort of stakeholders as well. But I guess at times I've also been challenged to work a certain way. I prefer to work in a softer, more collaborative sort of fashion, but I've also been told that I need to be tougher. I need to take a stronger stance and be more outspoken, be more aggressive in some ways. And it challenged me to think, well, you know, is the way I'm working and the way I'm doing things not enough? And also being, I guess, one of the few women in the team and also working in a very male-dominated space, I've often found myself wondering, am I just the gender or even cultural diversity that people want when they invite me to speak on panels or do presentations? I do find that I have a bit of an imposter syndrome sort of thing where I think, well, do they really recognize me for the work that I'm doing, or they just really want me to balance out the panel with another female? And I've been very blatantly told before that, yeah, we've invited you because we need a female on the panel, which can be a good or a negative thing. But it took me time to build up the confidence to realize that I don't have to work the way that other males work in the field. I'm okay being able to take a more collaborative approach, and that there is no one size fits all in the way that we approach how we work with people, how we take on projects. And that while I guess females are often seen to be taking a softer sort of approach, I find that it works. It's worked for me, and I realized that it's okay to continue working that way. And yeah, I don't see that how it's had a negative impact on my career. But it took time. It took time for me to build up that confidence to realize that it's okay. I don't have to change the way that I'm working. And I guess if you were to ask me how we can sort of build up each other up, especially women and women, how do we build each other up, is really for us all to realize that it's great. Of course, we need gender diversity, we need cultural diversity, but also recognize that women are not there just to provide that gender diversity. There are so many talented women in road safety. I've personally worked with so many, like countless, too many to count, really. There are so many talented women. So when we're, you know, we need to recognize that, you know, there are so many women in road safety that have many things to contribute, and we should be offering them opportunities to be able to showcase that, you know, when we actually have conferences and we're setting up panels, that we're not just inviting women as a diversity quota, but really recognizing that there are talented women out there that have important things and important, you know, knowledge to contribute. So that's one thing that I've been guilty of myself as well. It's not just thinking at the outset, you know, thinking, oh, how can we involve women more? That's something that I need to change myself, and hopefully many others would also recognize that we need to focus a bit more on the talent that women bring and not just that diversity. I've also been very fortunate that I've been mentored by many great people in road safety. I started with Samantha Cofield, who's one of the greatest mentors I've had in road safety, and a very strong and talented women in road safety as well. And along the way, I've had many others, David Healy, David Ward. There's so many that have encouraged and built me up to be able to do the things that I do, that I recognize that mentoring each other is going to be such an important part of building each other up. So if there's the opportunity for you to help mentor others and provide that support, I say definitely take it, especially if there are other women and younger women in the field that's looking for that support. I would encourage for us to be able to help each other out and mentor each other as much as possible. And I guess one of the other things is look out for the quiet achievers. I would say there are, once again, so many talented women, but they're not out there. They're not outspoken. They're the quiet achievers in the background doing the work, supporting others. But I think they also deserve that recognition and deserve for us to be able to lift them out and, you know, showcase some of their talent and giving them opportunities as well to be able to contribute in conferences and speaking opportunities. So looking out for the quiet achievers is another thing that I think we need to do better at, especially as women, looking out for each other. And something that Carol mentioned in her video earlier that really resonated with me was she said, when women support women, we all win. And I couldn't agree with that sentiment more. You know, we're all here working on the same cause, working for, you know, the same outcome, which is 0 road fatalities. And I think that we can all do that if we sort of work together and collaborate more, which I think we've been doing such a great job of. But of course, there's always areas that we can improve in. And I think this ACRS Women in Road Safety initiative is such an important one. And I congratulate the ACRS for actually starting it, because I think it's going to be such an important tool for us to be able to use to help each other move forward in our careers, but also in the road safety space as well. So while my career in road safety, I say, started by accident, I never set out to start a career in road safety. It was not by choice, I guess, at the time. I sort of happened across it, but the reason I stayed was because of the people, mainly the people, and the fact that we're all working for a very important cause. And I'm very fortunate in my career so far that I've worked with so many fantastic people. And I'm really looking forward to being able to continue that journey with all the amazing people that I've worked with along the way, and also hopefully make new friends and new contacts through this Women in Road Safety network as well. So I just want to thank you for taking the time to actually listen to me ramble on about my road safety and career journey, I guess. I'm not sure if you found it interesting, but I hope that I was able to show you a little bit of why I started in road safety and why I've continued. And that's because I do think road safety is such an important issue. And of course, the wonderful people is an absolute bonus on top of all that. So I just want to thank the ACRS again for giving me this opportunity to speak a little bit about my experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessica. And indeed, it was very interesting, inspiring, and motivating speech. And we are very pleased that you had some time today to talk to us today. I would like to remind the audience that you have an opportunity to ask a question in the Q&A section. While you are writing your questions, so just a quick reminder that the Women in Road Safety Network is dedicated to empower, advocate, and support women in road safety. If you'd like to get involved in the network as a member or support the network, please get in touch with the college or the network directly. So we have a couple of questions already came through, Jessica, and you touched based on this question a little bit in your speech, but what are your thoughts? How can leaders such as yourself help other women to develop their careers?
Thank you, Alexandra. And I think that's a great question, because it's something that I've sort of been thinking about a lot as well, because I've been very fortunate in my career to be helped along by many great people. And there's no doubt I wouldn't have had all these opportunities if I haven't had great people around me to offer me that. And I think that is one of the things that we need to consider. How can we help those around us to be able to progress in their career as well? And I sort of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I think the mentoring aspect is one thing that has really helped me. And I think it would be very valuable if we can have some sort of mentoring process in road safety, especially in women to women, to be able to help them develop that confidence to be able to advance in road safety. I've been fortunate. I've been involved in a couple of mentoring programs internationally where I've been paired with other, I guess, younger road safety professionals and being able to share some of my learnings with them. But I do think mentoring is one of the key ways of being able to support each other and being able to help some of the younger generations coming up in road safety to be able to progress.
Thank you very much. Another question is about women representation in as I understand from the abbreviation, towards Zero Foundation's work in low and middle income countries.
Yeah, so at the TZF, we've worked across the globe. And most of our projects are based in low middle income countries, and some of the regions, Latin America, all the countries in Latin America are very much one of our key focus areas. The ASEAN countries as well is another key focus area. Africa is another one. India is another region that we've sort of talked about and worked in. So we've got some key projects that are ongoing in these regions of the world, which means we spend a lot of time working with our counterparts and government agencies in those countries to try and embed better vehicle safety regulations and vehicle safety developments. So those are the key areas that we've worked in and will continue to work in. But also globally on the international front, we do a lot of work at the UN level with our international road safety partners, such as the WHO, the UN, the Bloomberg Philanthropies, and a number of other international organizations. And that's all about keeping road safety on the public health agenda and making sure then that there is a continued focus on that topic.
Thank you. Another question is around your experience. What is your experience of working in road safety in Australia compared to low and middle income countries? And the second part is what low and middle income countries you worked with on NCAP program?
Yeah, so it has been very different. I think starting my work in Victoria, high income sort of region compared to some of the countries that I've worked in, I found that a lot of the work that I've been doing at TZF and Global NCAP in the countries that we work in now are not that different to what we've been doing in Victoria. It's just in terms of the scale and the starting point is quite different. So a lot of the thinking and the work that I did at the TAC around motorcycle safety, promoting vehicle safety, they were things that we've done for a long time. But now that we were trying to move to the low middle income region, you realize that they're sort of lagging behind, probably in some regions 10 to 20 years behind where work that we've done for a long time already. And culturally, it's also very different. It's understanding that it's a different sort of approach to how we were doing things in Victoria. We can't just come in, I guess, as an NGO from a high income country to these low middle income countries and just say, we've come to solve all your problems. That's not the way we should be doing things. It's more about embedding ourselves into the work that's being done by local counterparts and working with them in a very collaborative fashion to understand what the issues are and collaboratively, I guess, coming up with solutions and not just going in and imposing our thinking and our work on them. So it's a different scale and a different type of collaboration, but it's been such an enjoyable process. And obviously the perks are being able to travel a lot and being able to meet a range of wonderful stakeholders from all around the world, but it is different in terms of the scale of work. And it may seem like, you know, we're repeating some of the stuff that we've done in Victoria in some of these regions, but we need to understand, yeah, there is a significant lag in some of these regions, and we do need to start from some of the more basic steps. But one of the key things, I guess, in low middle income countries is while they are lagging behind, they don't necessarily have to repeat all the mistakes that we've made in high income countries such as Australia as well. We can leapfrog some of those developments and learn from, I guess, some of the failings and challenges that we've seen in high income countries and be able to avert some of those. And in terms of regions of the world, so sort of touched on that earlier, Latin America, Africa, Asia, and India are some of the key regions that we're working in currently.
Thank you so much. And I suppose there is another question, but it's kind of a follow-up for this. Is there any advice that you would give to women working in low and middle income countries? And is there any differences you noticed for women who work in road safety in those countries?
Yes, I think in, I guess, some of the low middle income countries where, once again, you might see that it's very much a male dominated sort of area. In some countries that we've worked in, I guess, it can be seen where males are seen, I guess, in some ways as being more superior or more knowledgeable. I've been mistaken many times as being the secretary for my boss, not there as a road safety professional in my own right. And I guess having to overcome some of those thinking and challenges, you have to be a little bit thick-skinned in walking in and sort of building up the confidence to say, well, actually, I'm here as a road safety professional myself. I've got my own opinions. I'm not here just as, I guess, as an add-on to the rest of the team. But yeah, that was a little confronting, I guess, when I first started working. And it's very different, I guess, to the experience that I had in Australia. But that, I have to say, is just a minor part of it, very minor. The vast majority of my experience in working in the middle income countries has been extremely positive, very well received. And yeah, women are seen to be able to make a significant contribution, which is really, really good to see.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And did you find that your education has helped you to be more respected by male counterparts in your career?
That's an interesting one, because I guess generally in our day-to-day working lives, we don't really go around asking each other what our qualifications are. We don't go around talking about, oh, what degree have you got? It's mainly just being extremely collaborative. But I do find, I think sometimes working in low middle income countries, having a particular title or having a particular experience helps add to the credibility of the information that you're trying to impart. I do find with my psychology background, I sometimes try to use it to my advantage to sort of talk about how hard it is to change behavior, and advocating for a more safe system approach. But by and large, I don't think my education, as in terms of how many degrees I have, or at what level I've sort of achieved, has made a significant difference. It's more, I guess, around the experience that you've had, and how you present yourself and how well you work with others. Those seem to be more important qualities. I've never really had anyone question my educational background.
That's a great point you mentioned, and you highlighted again the collaborative style of work. And so one of the questions from the audience, we have that you recognize that the collaborative style is a strength that you do not need to abandon to fit into male-dominated fields. I think this is a very important point, and I'm wondering if you have any tips on some specific examples of how to maintain this approach in an environment that may be more competitive.
It's a good question, and I think it's something that I'm still trying to learn and adopt myself, because I still find it challenging. I still find it hard, especially, I'm not a quiet person. I do speak up and all that, but I do find, in environments where there are a more dominant sort of presence, you have to once again learn to build up that confidence to be able to speak up for yourself and the issue that you're trying to advocate for. And I think that comes with experience and time. And once again, I think I go back to that whole mentoring aspect, where I've had the experience of working with other women in that mentoring space and really providing them with the platform and opportunity to go out there and start being a part of that and encouraging them to speak up and slowly helping them to build up that confidence. And I've seen that really work with some of the mentees that I've worked with. And I think that's something I still continually need to work with some of my mentors, is to continue to recognize that, it's an important thing, but I don't think it's an overnight thing, and it comes with time and it comes with experience. And if we're able to provide that opportunity for each other to be able to help build up that confidence, I think that's a great thing to be able to do. But I don't think I have any magic tips on how to do that, because that's something I'm still trying to forge my way forward in and try to learn myself as well.
Thank you. And talking about these magic tips and also on mentoring, so I would like to highlight to our audience that Early Career Network of the college has a mentoring program, which has piloted last year and will be opening for applications again soon. So I would encourage you to watch for this space and see about these mentoring opportunities. That will be fantastic. We have another question, probably like a vision for the future. What would be your vision for the future or developments that you would like to see for women as leaders in road safety?
Sorry, do you mind repeating that one again?
Yep. So what is your vision for the future, or which developments you would like to see for women as leaders in road safety?
Yeah, I think the vision I have, especially as I'm nearing the end of my PhD, is really being able to develop that thinking and really making progress in road safety to help us see those significant reductions. I just think that we've got so many wonderful colleagues and stakeholders with so much knowledge. It's how can we work collaboratively to see those gains being made in road safety. And I think at the moment, I think my experience is that, you know, there's so many different organizations working on very important topics, but we tend to be working in silos. We tend to work in our own little area. And while there is collaboration, I think there can be more of that. So my vision, I guess, moving into the next decade is greater collaboration between the stakeholders in terms of road safety topics and really integrating the different areas of road safety so that we can harness the synergies between the different works to be able to achieve those road safety outcomes. And one of my key focus moving into the future is around that Vision Zero planning. And that's all about integrating the different elements of the system together to be able to achieve those road safety outcomes. So while we all respectively do fantastic work in our areas, I think we can, really multiply those effects if we come together and work together even more closely. And I think women have a great role to play in that. Once again, I think there are so many great women road safety practitioners out there that are both in the research space, policy space, government, and I think we can be doing more in utilizing their thinking and their collaborative approaches to see some of those gains being made in road safety. So I think, once again, providing that platform and in giving those opportunities for women to be able to shine a little bit more would be my hope, one of my hopes for the future.
Thank you so much, Jessica. So I think that's all questions for today. And I really would like to thank you again for this amazing presentation. And I would like to thank also ACRS members for attending this webinar today, and the Women in Road Safety Network committee members and the events team for organizing this webinar today. And please watch this space for the upcoming events. We'll highlight that this video will be available on the ACRS website. And once again, happy International Women's Day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.